Hi everybody, this is Miss Faina. I wanted to go ahead and make this video to help some of y'all with the calculator. So our first question is, what is the rate of change and the equation of a line that passes through the points 3, -8, and 5, 7? Well, first off, we need to know that rate of change means slope. Okay, so when we're talking about the rate of change, we want to talk about the slope, and the variable that represents the slope is m. Then it states that it wants us to find the equation of a line. Okay, that is most likely going to be y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we're also going to find that as well. So to do this, we're going to use our calculator. I will be using the iPad calculator, but it is identical to the yellow school calculator. So I switch over to my calculator. I'm going to discard my changes because we don't need that. I'm going to go to New, List, and Spreadsheets. So remember here, we go up to the A, we type in X, and press Enter, and then I go to the B and type in Y, and press Enter. Okay, I am going to type in the points that we were given. Okay, so we were given 3 as the X value, -8 as the Y value. There's the first point. My second point was 5, and then 7. Okay, from here I go to Menu, which is the toolbar on the iPad. So Menu 4, 1, 3. So the fourth one down is Statistics. The first one is Stat Calculations. The third one down is Linear Regression, mx plus b. For X list, I erase it and I type in X. For Y list, I type in Y. I hit OK. So I'm wanting to find the slope and the equation of the line, so I do need m and b. So the m is 7.5. B is -30.5. So my rate of change is 7.5. My equation, y equals 7.5, because that's my m, x minus 30.5, because that was the b value given. Okay, so we have to make sure when we write that equation, it has an m and a b, and you also have the y equals and the x next to the slope. Okay, looking at the second equation, or second question, which of the following is the equation of a line with a slope perpendicular to 4 and passes through the point -4, 9? Well, let's say we forgot what perpendicular meant, which is okay. We're going to use our calculator to help us. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in the equation to see if it actually goes through this point for -9. We're going to use the graph function. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over to my calculator. I'm going to discard my changes and a new, and I'm going to go to the graph this time. So I'm going to type in answer choice A and then look at its table. We only type in stuff after the equal sign. So -4x minus 9. I hit enter, it graphs it for me. I want to look at the table. The yellow calculator, you can hit Control T for table. On the iPad, you hit toolbar, table, split screen table. Again, I'm looking for the point -4, 9. So if I go up, this one has -4, 7, which means that does not work. This gave me, -4, 7, and we don't want -4, 7, we want -4, 9. So then I go and I redo everything for the second equation. So new document, graphs, again, everything after the equal sign, so -4x minus 2. I hit enter, and then menu, table, split screen table. Again, -4, 9 is the point we're looking for. This gives me -4, +14. Again, not the point we want, so we keep on going. So I'm going to go to answer choice C and type that in. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. So home, discard my changes, new graph. We have a negative 1/4 x plus 4. Again, menu, table, split screen table. We're looking for -4, -9. I get -4, 5. Again, not the point I want. So our only option left is D, but I still want to go ahead and check it. So back to the calculator one last time. Home, discard my changes, new graph, and I'm going to type in answer choice D. So a -1/4 x plus 8. Hit enter. Menu, table, split screen table, -4, -9. That's it. So it works. So that's how you can check it if you forget what perpendicular means. Okay, but remember, perpendicular is just opposite and flipped. Number 3, what is the solution to the following equation? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our calculator, okay, and we're going to end up typing this whole entire equation in. But how we do that, you can't just type it into the calculator part, okay, it's not going to work that way. So what we do is we're going to, again, go home, discard our changes, and we want to go to calculator. And we're going to solve this similar to the way we would solve a system. So we go to menu 3, 2. So the third one down is algebra. The second one down is solve systems of linear equations. But the difference is I only have one equation. So I'm going to change the number of equations to 1 and hit OK. And now I type in that whole entire equation that I was given. So -5, parentheses, 1 minus 5x, close parentheses, plus 5, open a new set of parentheses, -8, x minus 2, close parentheses, equals -3, x minus 8x. Okay, that was a long one. And I noticed that I used a negative sign instead of a minus sign, so I'm going to fix that. There we go. So you have to be careful with the minus signs and the negative signs. So now that I have it typed in, I'm going to press enter, and it gives me that as an answer. So let me make sure I typed it in right one more time, because you know everybody makes mistakes. Okay, so that's it. So we get -15/4. Oops. Now let's say that we had answer choices that were decimals. What we would do if we needed to switch to a decimal, we're just going to go to menu, and you have to go back if you're on the iPad, but if you're on the yellow calculator, you don't. So menu, we want to go to number, and we want to convert to decimal. When we do that, we press enter, we get a -3.75. So it could be or -3.75. So that's how you would solve a system with one equation, or solve an equation. Okay, number 4, the following is a system of equations. So now we have a system. How many solutions does the system of equations have? And what is the solution? So remember, there's 3 different types. You can have one solution, which means that they are intersecting at one given spot. You can have infinitely many solutions where you have one line and then you have a second line on top of it, okay, like that. Or you can have no solution where the lines are parallel, okay. So in our calculator, if it's one solution, it's going to give us that one value. When it is infinitely many solutions, that's when you're going to get the C in your answer, okay, C with some number. And then whenever it's parallel lines, it's going to say no solution found. Okay, But when we're doing a system of linear equations, you can either get 1, infinitely many, or 0. That's our only options. Okay, so to solve this, we're going to type these into our calculator. We're going to do it the same way we solved the equation, except this time we have 2 equations. So I'm going to go ahead and stay here. I'm going to go to the toolbar. I'm going to go back. So again, 3, 2. So algebra, solve systems of linear equations. Now I have 2 equations, so I don't have to change anything, and I press enter. So I'm going to type it in exactly as I see it. So it was 0 equals negative 2y. So I have to switch over to get my y. The y and x are at the bottom of the yellow calculator. Plus 10 minus 6x. Then I look at my second equation. I have 14 minus 22y equals 18x. So I have it all typed in. I press enter. Okay, so it gave me an actual solution. So what that means is that I just have one solution. So the number of solutions is just 1. Or you can use the number 1. And what is that actual solution? It was, I already forgot, 2, negative 1. Oops, wrong thing. Okay, so I will show you what a infinitely many solutions would look like. That means they're the same line. So if I type in the same equation twice, so let's do y equals 2x minus 1. And then the second equation is going to be the exact same thing. Y equals 2x minus 1. That's what it would look like. Maybe not with the fractions, but it's going to have a c in the answer like that. So that would be infinitely many. And then again, no solution or 0 solutions would be, it would clearly say no solution. Okay. So next one. What are the solutions and the vertex of the quadratic function? Okay, so the solutions and the vertex, and this is new because it's our quadratic function. So we're going to graph this function. When it's talking about solutions, that's where it's crossing the x-axis, so it's the x-intercepts. Okay, and then when it's talking about the vertex, that's either the highest or the lowest point. Okay, so we're going to go to our calculator and we're going to graph it. So home, discard my changes, new graph. And we're going to type this in. So we have x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay. So it looks like this. Now, to do this, we're going to go to menu. We want to trace and we want to graph trace. Okay, and there it gives us our little cursor, and we can just glide with our finger if we're using the iPad. On your yellow calculator, you will use the side arrows and it will move it. So if I hover over that x-intercept, notice it tells me 0 and it gives me the solution 3, 0. Okay, so there's one of my solutions. Remember that solutions are also known as zeros or x-intercepts, so lots of key terms there. And then let's go ahead and find the other x-intercept or solution. That would be 4, 0. Okay, then to find the vertex, if we just hover over where the vertex is, notice it says it's a minimum. That is the lowest point, which is also the vertex, and it tells me it is 3.5 and then negative 0.25. So 3.5 and negative 0.25. And again, it told me it was a minimum. That's just extra knowledge. Okay, if it was opening down, it would say it's a maximum. Okay, so that's really it for that. Not too bad. So again, a refresher on what we did. We just went to, oops, nope, not home. We went to our menu, we went to trace and graph trace. Menu, trace, graph trace. Okay, looking at the next one. If the point slope form of a line is shown as y minus 6 equals a negative 2/5 x plus 10, which of the following equations is equivalent? On this one, there's not really any tips or tricks. It's really, you just have to be able to solve for y. Okay, so let's look at that. So we're going to draw a line through the equal sign. The y minus 6 is just going to stay the same. And I'm going to distribute this negative 2/5 to everything after it. So negative 2/5 times x is just a negative 2/5 x. Negative 2/5 times 10. Our calculator will help us with that. So I'm going to go to home, discard, and I want just the calculator part. So I have a negative 2/5, and I'm wanting to multiply it times 10, and it tells me it's negative 4. Okay, from here I need to do the opposite, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. When I do that, those zero out. I get y equals a negative 2/5 x. Negative 4 plus 6, if you don't know, use your calculator. Negative 4 plus 6, we get a positive 2. So I look at my answer choices. A does not work because it's a positive 10. B does not work because it's a negative 2 and the wrong slope. C looks like it's our answer, and D would not work because, again, it has the wrong last number. Okay, awesome. Number 7, k of x equals 5 times 3 minus x, close parentheses, plus 10. What is the value of k of 1/2? So all that means is we're going to change this x to a 1/2. So I have 5 times 3 minus 1/2 plus 4, and then I'm just going to type that into my calculator. So I switch back over, and I do want to be in the calculator part, so I'm going to stay here. So I'm just going to type it in. 5 times 3 minus 1/2, close my parentheses, plus 4. I hit enter. It gives me 33 over 2. Now remember, you may need to change it to a decimal, especially if it's a free response. So to do that, you're going to hit the menu or toolbar, number, convert to decimal, and you're going to hit enter, and you get 16.5. So either one of those would work. Okay, and last but not least, what is the x-intercept and the slope of the linear function g of x equals 4x minus 1? So I'm going to show you how you can do this on the calculator. We go over to our calculator. We're going to go back to the graph. So home, discard, new document, graphs. We're going to type it in. 4x minus 1. Press enter. And we're going to, first, we're going to find the x-intercept. So menu, trace, graph trace again. And you're just going to click or drag it over to the x-axis for the x-intercept. Again, it says 0. So it tells us down in the bottom corner that it's 0.250. So the x-intercept is 0.25, comma 0. Again, it's the same thing as the word 0. Yes, there's lots of zeros in there. I know it's a little confusing. And then the slope. The calculator does tell you this if we happen to forget how to identify the slope when it's in slope-intercept form. So if we go back, we're going to go back again, and we want to go to Analyze Graph. So Menu, Analyze Graph, and you want dy dx. That is the same thing as slope. And remember, we just tap on it and it tells us at that dot right there, no matter where we go, our slope is 4. So again, for the slope, it's the dy dx, like that. So I hope this video helps understand the calculator a little better and clears up any confusion you may have. Please make sure you ask your teacher for help if you need it. Other than that, have a great day, Rangers.